And that's all I have tonight, except to say that Tina Stanton is sitting in for our city clerk, Monica. So ask if there's a report from the city manager.
I have two things, Your Honor. First, the Park and Rec Department will be holding a public open forum on July 27th at 6 p.m. in the council chambers to discuss plans for a new dog park. The forum is designed to update the community on the plans, establish a working group or committee to bring plans forward, and discuss fundraising opportunities for the park. Again, at 6 p.m., July 27th, here in the council chambers. Also wanted to let the mayor and council know that Myrna has started her retirement process. She's going to be working through this month, and then we're going to put her on a phased retirement. Probably for the remainder of the year, and that we have selected Deb. Deb is going to move up from benefits coordinator to Myrna's position as the human resources coordinator. So, big change for the community, for the city, but that's what we're doing.
Okay, well, thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Mark Peterson.
Here.
Councilman Thurley.
Here.
Councilman Craig.
Here.
Alexander. Here. Iden.
Here.
Borzakowski.
Here.
Double.
Here.
All right, under petitions, requests, and communications, item 3.1 is reappointments to the Heritage Preservation Commission for Merle Hansen, Carolyn Larson, and Peter Shortridge.
Move approval of those appointments. I'd second that.
Motion by Michelle and seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.2 is reappointments to the Joint Airport Zoning Board for Alan Thurley and George Borzakowski.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Michelle and seconded by Jerry. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.3 is reappointments to the Recreational Waterways Commission for James Bamanek.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Michelle and seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.4 is the application for an off-sale liquor license for the Hometown Liquor. Michael Rusk and Mark Swenson are doing business as Hometown Liquor, are requesting an off-sale liquor license. The effective dates of that license would be August 1st through June 30th of 2017.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jerry and seconded by Michelle. Any discussion? George?
I see they're here if they want to share any information, or
Do you have anything you wish to add? No?
No, we're here for questions.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
good luck.
Yeah, hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Good luck.
Item 3.6 is a request from Main Street Program for a big muddy brew.
3.5.
Did I skip one?
Yes.
That one. 3.5.
3.5. You want mine? Faith Fest?
Where he got the paper clip?
Oh, yeah. Gosh, sorry. Item 3.5 is a license agreement for the Faith Fest event on Sunday, or September 11th.
So moved. I'd second that.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Al?
Yeah, I have some questions here. You know, if we look in the agreement, it's actually with the group called Faith Riders Motorcycle Ministry. And I kind of have some questions about, you know, what this entails. And I'm also concerned about giving exclusive access to this area as you know, whether it will affect access to the playground equipment that's located east of our bench. I'm wondering if anybody is here from that group to answer those questions.
I don't think so. Anybody here from Faith Fest? Okay. Chad, are you familiar? Okay.
Mayor and Council, it is relatively typical for us to designate an area and give them exclusive rights. It doesn't necessarily affect the band shell playground area though. The music area that they're suggesting, and of course the blocked off parking lot, is really the designated area for the event. So I don't see any disruption for the playground. And then Councilman Thurley, I'm not quite sure how to answer the first question.
I'm just not familiar with the group, I guess, which is why I'm asking the question.
Della, do you have some familiarity with them? I actually do. Okay, maybe you could share some of that.
Councilman Thurley, I attend Living Light Church,
Okay.
and Chris Parker, who's the former mayor of Stockton, is one of the lead organizers for Faith Riders. It is a Christian-based organization headed by some motorcycle enthusiasts. You often will see them wearing their vests that have a gold cross on the back that says Faith Riders, and this is a Christian concert that they are planning for, and have had a lot of chatter on social media about it. I don't know if that helps, but
You said Christopher Parker?
Chris Parker is
Okay.
is one of the organizers' names, and he is the former mayor of the city of Stockton as
Okay,
well.
I have a Chris Park in our agenda here, which is why I'm
You're-
kind of
You're missing a
confused
couple
about
of
that.
letters. It is Parker.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I just want to make sure all the
absolutely.
T's are crossed and the I's are dotted.
Yeah, hopefully that's a little bit of help to you.
Okay,
Is this open to the public? Yes. It is,
okay.
I have questions.
okay, Pam?
Yes, I know that the Dakota gathering is on the 10th and 11th of September, in other words, one of those same days. And I have a question about whether the city coordinates two festivals in the same park. Is there an attempt made to make sure that all goes well between the two groups, or that traffic flows, or that music doesn't conflict? Do we have a policy for that?
Good question, but
Mayor and council, yes. All the facilities that are rented within the park system come through the Park Rec Department. By name, Maynard Johnson coordinates all of that for us. He makes sure that the two events coexist. In this case, I don't see any conflicts with the Lake Park area, Band Shell area, and then of course Unity Park for the homecoming.
Okay.
Other questions? We have a motion, right? Okay. We'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
All right, now, item 3.6 is a request from the Main Street program for the Big Muddy Brew and Q event on September, Brew and Q event on September 3rd and 4th.
Move to approve that request.
I'd second that.
Motion by George and seconded by Pam, and I know Della's here and probably could say a few words. About this new event.
Thank
Levy
you,
Park.
Mayor Peterson, members of the council. I do have just a little bit of information coming around for you. This is a very early promotional flyer about the Big Muddy Brew and Q, and also some can koozies with our new Brew and Q logo for your use, and then you can help spread the word about it. So this is intended to not only be a Main Street fundraiser, but also another opportunity to highlight our wonderful Levy Park. All of the events that will be happening on Sunday of Labor Day weekend will be taking place within the confines of Levy Park. So council have any questions for me about the nature of the event or our plans for
Al
the...
does?
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
about that. In the cover letter from Winona Main Street, item 1, it talks about the closure of Cal Fremling Drive on Sunday, September 4th, starting at 8 a.m., and then it kind of ends there. I assume you want the closure to go beyond September 4th?
Thank you for clarifying that, and I believe in the more detailed aspects of our request for use, it does clarify that. The event itself is from noon until 9 p.m. We'll be using Cal Fremling Drive for a art and craft artisan type of venue. So by closing it in the morning, we'll be able to allow those folks to set up. The craft and art fair will actually run until about 4 p.m. And then, of course, it'll take some time for them to clear out. But because we have our other activities that will be taking place in the park all the way up till 9 o'clock, it just seems easier to close off Cal Fremling Drive during that entire time.
Tell me a little bit about the request for open container.
Well, the Brew and Q is going to be only in Levy Park, and so the opportunity to allow folks to have a beer and yet still go into the area where we'll be serving some of the pork, rather than having to stay in one area if they're going to have a beer and having to go someplace else if they're going to enjoy the barbecue. Also, it separates families and people. So we wanted to take advantage of an opportunity to showcase how an event like this could be done well and successfully and safely. Also, the bulk of our event is during the day, and it's on a Sunday. We will have security present and that sort of thing. All of our bands are family-friendly, so we don't have anything that should attract any kind of activity that would encourage excess drinking.
Do any of the vendors use glass containers?
No, our plan is not to use glass containers.
How about access to Godfather's Pizza, which is at the...
Access to
beginning?
Godfather's Pizza, I believe, will still remain open. It'll just be the parking lot across the street from Godfather's Pizza, the city municipal park that kind of serves the park that will be closed, and then the Cal Friendly Drive. But as far as being able to get on the street and get access to the business, that will not be affected.
I have a related question.
Sure.
Yes, I was wondering about the effect on, because of those parking lots being closed, what about the effect on the riverboat passengers, the excursion boat that's docked in that same area? Are we cutting them out of their parking?
Mayor and council, if the license agreement is approved tonight, we'll send notice to those the tour boat and Winona State facility. If they have scheduled events, we work with then the event to accommodate the times and access points. Typically, when the license agreement is signed, that's why we're doing this ahead of time as well. We give them proper notice. Again, if they have a special event planned, then we'll accommodate them.
So there will be parking available for people who want to participate in the boats? Okay.
Correct.
Thank you, good.
I think George has
Now, with that tour boat, now that goes out every Sunday afternoon, I know for certain at 1 o'clock, and it may go out twice, so, I mean, I don't want to see them not have parking for their customers. And I'm sure you'll work with all that,
Yeah,
so.
and Mayor and Council, just for further clarification, that we just work with those groups and then designate parking in a certain area. It may not, we always allow for handicap accessible parking for any individual that's going on either the tour boat or Winona State, but we may in fact designate parking outside of the, in a sense, the normal area, but we will designate parking for those two boats.
Looks like the road would remain accessible through there, so if somebody had a handicap need, they'd be able to probably get through and drop them off at the boat.
As always,
And also park down there if they needed to, perhaps.
correct, and as always, we have to leave that room open or that area accessible for emergency vehicles as well.
Al?
A question on Exhibit A, Item 7, temporary stage or stages may be set up in Levy Park for musical performances. To me, that's a little kind of loose. I'd rather have something more specific as far as where the stages are going to go, or at least with city approval of those stages going forward. I guess we're back to Chad.
Yeah, Mayor and Council. We did leave this broad. There are only a few locations that they could set up a temporary stage to accommodate electrical needs for that
Okay.
musical performance. And that's really on the southwest area of the Levy Park patio.
Okay.
And then there is some temporary electrical that we could run further east in the, I believe what we loosely call the half circle patio, further east. Really allowing other stage or other venue areas, electricity becomes almost non-existent for this event or really any event. So they are limited in where they can place those stages.
So that would be something that your department then would review and approve, basically, based on, if we go ahead with this?
We have had several walkthroughs with the Main Street program, designating where the beverages should be served, where the kids' activities, where they should have musical performances, craft fair, parking. So we've done several walkthroughs. It's a long answer to yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't object to this, but I just need clarification, and, you know, as they say, as I said before, the devil's in the details, and
Yeah.
as a new event going forward, I'd, you know, like to have some answers.
Councilman Thurley, can I elaborate just a little bit? Our presenting partner, particularly for this music part, is Layton Broadcasting. As was noted, we've done a couple of walkthroughs of the park area. One of the things that we're really wanting to preserve is the view of the river and the bluffs on the other side. So these will not be large enclosed or semi-enclosed stages. It's open air stages that are meant, of course, to elevate a band a little bit above, you know, where people will be seated on lawn chairs or at picnic tables. But it is our intent to allow folks to be able to enjoy the fact that we're going to be down by the Mississippi River. We want them to be able to see that and enjoy that. And we'll continue to work very, very closely with the city staff on it. But without a doubt, that will be taking place up on the patio, utilizing much of the same space that the Live at the Levee folks did. The only thing that's really different is we do not plan to encase the event under a single tent, but rather to use the entire patio area.
Okay.
Does that help?
Paul?
I'd just also suggest that there are several private parking lots like Merchants and some others that are reasonably close, as well as behind the big the office structure there that's a public lot, and maybe some signage to help people to know that within a block there's plenty of parking.
So without tents, are you going to have a rain backup plan, or?
At this time, the event will be held rain or shine. We may talk about Layton Broadcasting about needing a plan for severe weather or total washout, but because, again, the event's from noon until 9, we're not anticipating an event of weather that would make the entire thing not be able to happen. Again, much like Steamboat Days, on occasion, not this year, thank goodness, but on occasion, you might have a rain event that shuts things down for an hour or so, and then you just pick right back up.
Okay.
And back to the tour boats, it is our hope and intent to work with them and hopefully see, particularly the Winona tour boat, be able to get additional business because of this event and partner with us. We're hoping that maybe they'll even consider offering more than their usual Sunday schedule. Maybe they'll even want to partner with us on some special pricing. We have about 9 or 10 weeks out from our event date. The committee is now meeting every other week. We'll soon be meeting weekly in order to tie up some of these last partnerships that we want to have in place.
Sounds like a great committee, neat committee. Jerry, you had something?
I just was excited about this ever since Councilwoman Alexander told me about it, and I congratulate you and your committee. I'm looking forward to it, and I have no doubt this is going to be successful and something that we're going to be doing every single year. So this is great. Now, one thing I didn't see in here, and I'm sure it might be for the local competitors or any competitor, when is the final day to enter, I guess?
That's a very
And where
good
do they
question.
get the entrance paperwork, et cetera?
Sure. First of all, we do have a website set up. It's thebigmuddybruinq.com, or you can go to the Winona Chamber website and click on the pig. It'll take you to the Bruin Q website. As far as the Kansas City Barbecue sanctioned aspect of the event, because we have two competitions. One is the KCBS sanctioned event. We are putting a cap of 20 teams on that, and we want to give a big thank you to Ladybird Meats. They are our meat sponsor and will be providing all of the meat to the competitors, which is really noteworthy because that sets our event aside from anything else in the upper Midwest that's KCBS sanctioned. We are not only eliminating a significant cost for competitors, we're also leveling the playing field that everyone is working from the same meat supplier and the same cut. So the question about when is the deadline, there are some incentives to register early. Price goes up a little bit later. But the biggest incentive is when we reach 20 teams, we're done, and there would just be a waiting list. So if people in the area are interested, the sooner the better. We have had teams already registering. Separate from that, we're also going to be doing a Best in Local contest, which is for licensed food suppliers, meaning a restaurant or a caterer. And we have about 5 businesses signed up for that. Our goal is 15, and the winner will receive a very fun and unique trophy, and will have the opportunity to put in all of their local advertising that they were voted best in area in the pulled pork category. That also remains open until about a week and a half out from the event, or until we reach capacity, because again, the size of the park, we have a very specific area we're putting these things in, and when we max out the space, we'll close down the registration. Does that help?
Very much so, thank you.
Sir.
Other questions?
I'm hungry.
I haven't eaten yet either.
Councilman Craig, I have to tell you that one of the things that we're doing to prepare for this is go to all the other competitions that are happening.
That's horrible.
It has been me. I have a couple more coming up. If you'd like to come with me, they're a couple hours away.
I think
These
I'll call you.
samples are
I might
through,
volunteer.
And solicit to these teams about all the reasons they should come to Winona. If anybody wants to come
And I
with
think
me.
I've seen something like this. I think George and I might be able to put these to good use.
You know what
I
that's
was
for.
just gonna
I
ask,
do believe I know what
how
these are
much
used
for a can of beer?
How much what?
How much for a can of beer?
You know, we have not done our pricing for what goes in those canned koozies, but, and don't forget, we're gonna have a microbrewery tasting, so we're very excited about not only having just your regular fare, but the fact that we'll be partnering on some local and regional microbreweries, so that'll make our, again, aspects of our event unique, so thank you for your consideration.
Sounds like a great event. We're ready, Al?
It's just all about the sauce and the rub.
It's all about the sauce. Slow
burnt-
and
burnt
low
ends.
is what I'm told.
Burnt ends, yes, you got that, yep.
All right, I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Unanimous.
Item 3.7 is a temporary wine and malt liquor license for the Main Street program for the Big Muddy Brew and Q event for September 4th. The license would be effective from noon until 9 p.m. Second.
Motion by Pam and seconded by Michelle. Any discussion?
We've answered the question.
All right, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Under new business, item 5.1 is the new
16th pre-council meeting, options for a new city logo were discussed and presented, and the recommended logo is part of a looping slideshow that I have on the screen behind you. We put the logo on a number of different city materials just to show illustrations of how it could potentially be used. At that pre-council meeting, there was general consensus to forward the logo to a regular council meeting with some additional information related to cost examples on city materials that you see up on the screen here, and then the other logos that were considered as part of the process. The other logos that were considered are in your council packets tonight. The examples are on the screen, and Chad and I did a little bit of digging in terms of implementation costs. We contacted vendors that provide materials to the city, paper materials such as business cards and letterhead. They said there would essentially be no cost to switch over to the new logo. In addition, if we're looking at new decals for city vehicles, the cost for a decal is approximately $100 per decal. The plan for implementation would be to use up existing supplies with the current logo and then use the new logo when we reorder new supplies. That would result in either no cost or very little additional cost to implement the new logo that's recommended. The new logo would first be used on wayfinding signage and banners that is slated to be ordered for the downtown area during the fall of this year. Those two items are already in the city's budget, and the change to a new logo would not increase the cost for those two projects. From there on, the new logo would be phased into other city materials throughout the remainder of 2016 here, and you probably see a little bit more of it in 2017 when new things are ordered. For the item tonight, it's pretty simple. Should council concur with implementing the recommended logo, motion to adopt the logo shown in attachment A in your packets would be in order. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos.
I'd make a motion to accept or implement the recommended logo.
Second. Motion by Michelle and seconded by Paul. Discussion. Al's hand went up.
Oh, thank you. You talked about, Carlos, the wayfinding implementation as one of the initial steps. How large are those signs proposed to be compared to what we currently have in the city? Larger, smaller? What?
They'll generally be larger than the blue wayfinding
Yep.
signs that we have right now, so they'll be more legible. You can read them. So the logo will be a little bit more prominent. You'll be able to see it a little bit more.
Will they be 2-color, 3-color? What are the plans for that?
We currently have a sign consultant working on the proposed design for those signs, utilizing their expertise and their graphic artists to provide recommendations for the color scheme.
Okay. Jerry?
Well, at the other meeting, I made it crystal clear, I think this is an absolute mistake and it's a waste of money, so whatever. I certainly see that it's going to pass tonight, but I do have some questions. I like the creative writing in here where it's saying minimal cost, approximate, et cetera, et cetera. I like a little more concrete. How many vehicles, lawnmowers, bobcats are we talking about? Because it's $100 a pop, approximately. How many are we really talking about? Because I know we have that number somewhere. I certainly hope we know how many vehicles that we have.
Mayor and Council, Jerry, to your point, we would treat the vehicle signage the same as letterhead. We would let the vehicles that are currently out keep those decals or logos on the vehicles and then introduce the new logo to vehicles as we purchase them. So that number varies per year. I think in the 2017, preliminary budget request, there's 7, 8 vehicles. I'm looking at Steve, I don't remember the exact count.
So we're not going to go through the tremendous number that we have right now. We're just going to, okay. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm just going to say I think it's a waste. During the meeting, by the way, they said that we'll probably have to revisit this another 15 to 20 years because logos have to continuously be changed. So says an expert. I guess if you charge or whatever, you become an expert. And the last thing I will say is that new logo will result in not one new tourist coming to Winona. It's going to make you all feel good. I think it's a waste, but I'm a minority on this one. I'm done.
Okay. Other comments? George?
What are these logos with the shirts here that I'm seeing in here? Is that just, we're not getting shirts or anything?
I'll take a shirt, George.
Because I'm 2XL if you're taking an order for it out of the city manager's budget.
The mayor's budget.
Mayor and Council, we are not getting new shirts. Those were just as an example the graphic designer provided for the city.
You got to say, when you unveiled this logo back in May, I liked it, but I wasn't, terribly excited. But it's growing on me, and once I see it on the vehicles and letterhead, the business cards, I just think it's an improvement over our current logo that we have, and I think it's a good thing to do.
What do the 3 colors stand for again? I know the blue is river.
I thought you're supposed to look at it, it just pops out at you. That's what I heard.
Oh, okay.
Or were they the 3 crayons that the guy used?
Okay.
The green would represent the bluffs, the blue, the river, and the orange, innovation and the people that reside in Winona.
I can figure out the blue and the green. The innovation part I wouldn't come up with on my own, but I like it.
Mayor, Al, just comment, I'm supporting this, just an old saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I think that this is a prominent step for us to move forward.
You ready to vote? I think we are. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, I'm opposed.
Oh, okay.
If you had any doubt before, I
For a
just want to
second, I
make it
wasn't sure
clear.
you were going to say that. All right, 6-1. Passes.
Item 5.2 is the Sugarloaf Design Improvements Proposal.
I'd move approval of this guest request.
Second?
Motion by Michelle, seconded by George. Chad, you want to summarize this for those that are listening?
Mayor and council, the city did, upon request, receive a design service proposal from ISG regarding the Sugarloaf area. And not necessarily to start off with a negative, but we are seeing some adverse conditions in the Sugarloaf area. Certainly, we promote this area for users from the outdoor recreation standpoint as well as visitors. And we have individuals that are having a difficult time finding the area to, traverse to the base of Sugarloaf to use the area appropriately. We have individuals crossing private property. We have some parking issues on West Burns Valley Road. We have some inappropriate climbing that's happening actually on Sugarloaf. This is our first step in designing a safer, more user-friendly, appropriate area as it relates to the outdoor recreation services. And so we asked for this proposal to just get some assistance, obviously, with those issues that are occurring. As I did mention in the request, the majority of the funding is available. Again, the design proposal came in at $10,750. We do have $10,000 in the budget, and that $750 that we're short we'll take from the recreation budget.
My understanding is there's also some erosion issues up there because of some of the trails that have been used.
So some individuals are choosing just to simply traverse as quick as they can up to the top, not necessarily following the path that's been established, and it's causing some erosion issues as well. And so we do have water runoff from that area, and it's being exacerbated by inappropriate use. And so we want to address that, or at least acknowledge that in this design as well.
Questions?
Yes. I'd like to know, who is ISG?
ISG is primarily a landscape architect firm. They are currently working on the Main Street and Levy Park gateway for the city of Winona.
Okay, I wondered if it was the same. Thank you.
But they also do extensive work in trail development, and that's why we asked for this proposal from that company.
I do have, you keep referring in this synopsis here to proper climbing. And are we going to be inviting tourists to climb to the top of Sugarloaf, the peak of Sugarloaf? Or if we're not, then how are we going to stop them once they get up there?
I refer to proper climbing because we do have individuals that are free climbing Sugarloaf, and that's not something that we would promote. And part of this plan then would have proper signage and indicate to folks that it's not safe or appropriate to free climb Sugarloaf. And I don't mean this flippantly, it's not okay to do that in your flip-flops. We see the individuals doing that, and so that's a safety issue that we have. We do see it though as a destination where if proper climbing techniques are used, it is a structure that can be properly climbed.
I see Eric Barnard in the audience. I wonder if, Eric, you have anything to add about the climbing up there? I know you lead climbing groups.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, council members, I'm Eric Barnard. I'm the director of the Outdoor Education and Recreation Program at Winona State University. I'm also on the board of directors for the Minnesota Climbers Association. And the Sugarloaf is heavily used. You're having easily 10,000 people a year going up there who are hiking, some are climbing. Many are not climbers, but they go to the top. Just about any given day you can drive around Winona and see people on the top of the Sugarloaf. I think responsible use of the land, having responsible climbers up there. We offer climbing programs up there through our program as well, and people are starting to come from other cities to climb here because it's aesthetic. So I think the more responsible users you have up there, we see it all the time. When we're up there climbing, we see people who are thinking about climbing to the top who are not rock climbers, and they see us climbing with the ropes, with appropriate gear, and generally they're deterred. And so I think the more responsible users you have up there, the less you're going to see of that. I think if there's signage, if people are using it hiking appropriately, right now it's not a developed public space. We've worked with the city. Just last year, we hauled over 5,000 pounds trash down, the old lights, conduit, all that junk. Bicycles, I think we found a refrigerator up there. All these things, the climber and outdoor recreation user groups are taking ownership of this, working with the city. Rebar up there that was sticking up that a woman was impaled on last year, going up there with the city with the angle grinders, removing that. The graffiti that was 10 feet wide, the climbing user group removed the graffiti and are taking ownership of our public lands, which is the model for the future of how land managers and land users work together. So I think the more you have people up there responsibly climbing, the less you'll see of the irresponsible usage.
Okay, thank you. I would just add, anything you can do on the parking on West Burn would be a huge asset, because there are times when there's a lot of activity up there that I'm sure those neighbors in that immediate area are quite frustrated. And the road itself is not that wide, so it can fill up pretty easily.
George?
Are there hours when you can climb Sugarloaf? Or is it, I would imagine, midnight, 1 o'clock, well, let's go climb Sugarloaf.
It happens.
Not a good idea.
No,
It happens.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens, but I mean,
Mayor and council, the Sugarloaf area falls under just our regular park ordinance. So 10 p.m. is technically that's when you need to be out of the park area.
Al?
I really have an issue with spending $10,000 to do this, and I'm wondering, have there been other vendors who can do this, or can it be done in-house? I appreciate Mr. Bernard's information as far as the amount of trash there that we have. I'm concerned that once we establish this, assuming it passes, how is it going to be enforced? Do we need to send, a few police units up there? And I just really don't have a real good feeling about this. It's, I don't know, I've seen the city advertise Sugarloaf as a destination. Certainly it's a symbol, but to me it's not advertised in what I see as a destination. So I'm really concerned about spending $10,000 or $10,750 to do this, to encourage people to go up there. I just assume not spend the money.
I think they're gonna go up there regardless.
Yeah,
As long as
regardless.
they're going up there, I think maybe we should find the best way to make it safe and accommodating for them when they do, and reduce our liability, I think.
No. To me, $10,000 could be spent otherwise.
Well, I'm sure we can find other ways to spend it. I'm not sure it's an inappropriate way. Michelle?
This just comes back to having a park plan, and I think for more than 20 years, there's been risky behavior up on Sugarloaf, and I know it's a destination for people to come here and climb it, and I think actually 10,000, given the space that we're talking about, is minimal. And I'm actually excited that we're gonna start implementing this new trail and marking system, and we're gonna do it there, because I think it's very heavily used. And if we can make it safer and educate people, I think that's better. People fall off of there frequently, because they don't know what they're doing. And I think just from the liability perspective, having what we say are our hours and safe procedure is the way to go. And this is what I hope we see through our whole entire park system, is not just Sugarloaf, but we're gonna be able to implement this throughout the entire system. How many police calls do they get where people are up in the trails and they can see the old Kmart, but they can't find their way down? And trail marking can go a long way to just cutting back on people getting lost. So I'm 100% in favor of it.
Pam?
yes, I look forward to seeing the plan, because then there may be other questions.
Anybody else? Are we ready to vote? I think so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
6-1. Carries.
Item 5.3 is the appointments of the election judges for the 2016 elections.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Pam, seconded by Paul. Any questions, comments?
I did not make the motion.
Oh,
I made the motion.
Pam, or Michelle did, I'm sorry. I just want to say thanks to all these people that are volunteering to step forward and be election judges. It's a very long day, and their services are well appreciated. Anything else? Okay, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Council concerns?
Start down there with George.
Okay, thank you. Steve, any progress as far as the Mankato Avenue Railroad crossing goes? I see they were working down there on my way in, not on Mankato, but a couple of blocks down. Is there anything in the works as far as getting anything done on Mankato?
Unfortunately, again, they tell us it's on their work plan, they're aware of it, but they won't commit to when they're gonna actually do the work.
Okay. So I know they were down by Louisa Street as well, too, and they were out there measuring and doing different things down there, so.
And the last time we talked to them about Louisa Street, they didn't even know that was an issue. So
Okay. They know now, because
they knew.
Yeah, because I talked with the gentleman last week, so.
Unfortunately, I think there's too many people, they're not communicating well internally.
Okay.
But
so-
it's on their radar.
Okay.
Don't forget about Fifth Street
I
either.
will not forget about Fifth Street.
And Hamilton Street.
You could hit Grand and Sue while you're at it if you'd like.
You know, to be honest, they all
They all
need
need
the
it.
work. They all need it. So, I would like to congratulate Winona's Garrett Heath on his good showing this past weekend as he continues to chug along and hopefully get on the Olympic team. So he's got a little bit closer from what I understand this past weekend and reading the paper. And also to all the Winona athletes from a senior high school in Cotter that have made progress in professional sports and university sports. It gives Winona a very, very good name, and that's definitely a good shot of tourism when you have these young people and they're really excelling in their field. So congratulations to all of them, and good luck to Garrett. And then just on a sad note, I'd like to offer condolences to the Budnick family. Shirley Budnick, who passed away here last week, a longtime Fourth Ward resident. So to her children, Brucey Budnick, which I am most familiar with, she was a very good mother, good grandmother, and just a fine lady. Thank you.
Paul? I'll pass. Pam?
Yes, I have brought with me a list of pedestrian safety concerns and items, and I will be meeting with city staff to follow through on some of those, including the 6 recommendations from the Winona State Pedestrian Safety Committee. We need to step up here and finish those crosswalks and that striping before the students come back. So I'll be talking to staff about that. I wanted to draw attention to an editorial in the Daily News by a columnist, Leslie Hittner, who points out that a lot of the crossing signs, the pedestrian crossing signs at the stop signs on Main Street are out of order. He says, of 32 pedestrian control lights, 16 walk and 16 don't walk on Main Street between 3rd and Broadway. 2/3 of them have completely failed. And I've been crisscrossing that area myself. And with the new LED lights that they're putting in, it really gets really kind of strange and dicey whether there's a hand there or not. And I know that this is not city property. I believe this is Highway 43 in the state, but I'd like to see us step up before something happens there. So I think the whole city needs to step up for bicycle and pedestrian safety, and that's my concern.
Has that safety committee finished its work?
No, but it's summer and the Winona State students are not back yet, so I'm in touch with them and we'll continue that.
Thank you for doing that. And Paul, you're still on that too, right? Michelle?
Okay.
Jerry?
Nothing this evening.
And Al?
A couple of things, sympathy to the John Brightlow family on his passing. I remember John as the person who was in charge of one of the model legislatures I attended in high school, in the old senior high school, and very inspirational, and appreciate his enthusiasm and sympathy to his family on his passing. Also, the Nina and Pinta boats were here for the last few days at our levee. It was marvelous to see them and go aboard them and bring grandchildren aboard them. And I had the unique opportunity to finally meet Captain Morgan Sanger, who was and is part of the Columbus Foundation based out of the British Virgin Islands. When they first came here about 20 years ago, he sailed to St. Paul, and St. Paul refused him landing, and he called me as the CVB director, and we made arrangements to have the boat, at that time it was just the Nina, dock in Winona. So I think that every time they come into the upper Mississippi River, they make Winona a stop because of the relationship we built up. So it was nice to finally meet him in person, and he remembered me after 20 years, which I really, again, appreciate that. I've had contact with people who are concerned about the train traffic through Winona. I know George mentioned train crossings, but they are concerned about the content of what passes through our community, because we are basically split in two by our train lines, and I am wondering if the staff could look at the best way to address those issues going forward. In other words, could we pass a resolution? Could we emphasize what we need to do as a community to make sure that the traffic through Winona is as safe as it can be? I know it's not perfect because there will be incidents regardless, but you know, with the experience of other communities, when, for example, oil trains derail, you know, I know certainly our emergency responders are trained, but I was wondering if there's more that we can do as a community in terms of a resolution, in terms of encouraging federal legislation, or whatever it might be. I don't know what that is, but I would ask staff to look into that. And also, I would ask staff to look into traffic along the east part of Heights Boulevard. I had a constituent call me today who was concerned because the street itself, just off of Lake Boulevard and Clark's Lane, is very narrow. If individuals have gatherings at their homes and folks decide to park on both sides of that narrow street, it basically turns that street into a one-lane access point. So if there's something, I'm looking for recommendations. I know what I'd like to see done, but I'd rather have the professional staff examine that and then come back and say, okay, this is what we think is going to work. And then also I'd like to congratulate and welcome all of those members of the Winona Senior High School class of 1966, who will be attending a 50th high school reunion this weekend, this coming weekend, on Friday and Saturday here in Winona. And as a member of the class of 1966, I will be attending that event. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. I forgot to mention earlier that that item 8.2, which is an ordinance for handicap parking along East Wabasha Street, is going to be pulled tonight. So we just have one item. Do you want to introduce it?
Under the consent business, item 8.1 is the approval of the June 20th, 2016 minutes. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Michelle and seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by George and seconded by Michelle. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.